House Republicans, they work so hard day in and day out to make Democrats' lives easier politically, right? So now what are they doing? Now they're attacking America's premier law enforcement agency. They're attacking the very people who protect us from the Islamic terrorists that they've warned us about for so many years. They're attacking the same people that try to ship fentanyl into this country and kill our children. Those same people who are trying to stop that every single day, that stop drug gangs every single day, that break up white collar crime rings and people who are trying to steal your parents' and grandparents' money on telephones with all of these scams and all these That's what the FBI does every day, and the DOJ, of course, helps as well. But Republicans, they're at war with them because they actually tried to stop Donald Trump from stealing nuclear secrets and keeping them from the United States government. So I think the Democrats should send them a big basket of edible flowers or something, and that kubata.
It's specifically House Republicans who are reportedly considering taking action against the FBI and Department of Justice. According to a new report from Politico, quote, that push will become a cornerstone of Republicans' agenda in a chaotic back half of the year. Speaker Kevin McCarthy has already threatened to explore impeaching Attorney General Merrick Garland. Conservatives have also gone after FBI Director Christopher Wray, weighing whether to force a vote to recommend booting him from office. Additionally, some conservatives who believe the agencies have targeted Republicans are eager to cut the law agency's budgets. For more, let's bring in the reporter behind this piece, Politico's Jordan Carney. Also with us, NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ali Vitale, who took on way too early duties this morning. Thank you, Ali. Jordan, we'll start with you. What is the strategy these House Republicans are taking?
Yeah, so you're going to see this sort of play out in three ways going into the back half of the year. This week, Christopher Wray is going to be before the House Judiciary Committee testifying, so that'll kind of give us a flavor. And then they've got investigations, they've got the impeachment chatter around the Attorney General. They are looking at using the government funding legislation that's going to, kind of come to a head as we head towards the back half of the year. And then they've got this surveillance debate, which has some bipartisan overtones, but you're going to see it be a vehicle for some of the party's frustrations with the FBI in particular.
And, Ali, it's fascinating. We were just talking earlier in the show about how these House Republicans are trashing U.S. generals now. Some are trashing U.S. troops. Now they're trashing the FBI. They're trashing the DOJ, all because of Donald Trump's perceived slights from these agencies. And in the FBI's case, because they actually had to go in to get the nuclear secrets and the other military secrets that he'd stolen from the U.S. government. I would guess there has to be some consternation among other House Republicans and certainly among Senate Republicans in this war against law enforcement.
Yeah, there definitely are, because we're both old enough to remember when Republicans were going after Democrats for defund the police. And here you have some people saying that they should be defunding either prosecutors or the FBI in some cases. I mean, this is now so topsy-turvy with the way that Republicans are talking about law enforcement that certainly I have heard it from moderate Republicans who have to defend tough seats in the House or in the Senate, that this is not where they want their focus to be. Instead, you talk to Senate Republicans who say they want this to be a conversation about how they've stopped various points of the Biden agenda, but also found ways to work with him on things going forward. That's not a focus on impeaching Christopher Wray or Attorney General Merrick Garland. Instead, that's a focus on permitting reform. That's a focus on some of the things that we'll see coming down the pipeline in the Defense Authorization Act. That's where the focus wants to be on the Senate side of the building, but on the House Republican side of the building, we're instead seeing the focus on more of the red meat stuff for the base that we often talk about out on the campaign trail with Trump and all of the other 2024 Republican presidential contenders, which is continuing to fight the culture wars, pushing forward on things like abortion restrictions. And then, of course, that's nothing to say of the impeachment battles. I would also note that this week, as they come back to town, we have to figure out exactly what you guys were talking about earlier, which is Marjorie Taylor Greene in or out of the House Freedom Caucus? And what's stunning about that is that the Freedom Caucus is so powerful in this current Republican conference, and they're basically kicking her out, A, because she had some colorful conversations with some of her colleagues like Lauren Boebert, but B, because she's almost too helpful of an ally to Kevin McCarthy, who is technically on paper the leader of this entire conference, but is out of step, of course, with where the Freedom Caucus wants him to be. So I guess bring your kombucha for this week in Washington.